So I have your resume here. So we can go through this, and you can brief me a bit about your experience, what your core skills are, and we can take it from there.
Yeah, so let me give you a brief intro about myself. So my name is Devashish Singh, having close to 9 years of experience till date, and
Debashish,
in
there is a
total,
bit of background noise that I hear. Is it
uh, I am at someone's place and everybody is working from home. That's the
okay?
reason. Okay, then allow me 2 minutes. Let me go to another place.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is for the senior DevOps engineer role.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Am I visible and audible right now?
Yes.
Yeah. So basically, I'm having total close to 9 years of experience as of now till date in IT industry, where I started my career as a software engineer trainee working on uh, PHP technology. Mostly, we are developing websites using PHP as the backend language. And going forward, I upgraded myself or added front-end skill like HTML5, CSS3, JavaScript, jQuery, Angular, React. So basically, I was a full stack developer initially for the initial phase, that is 3 years. And after that, I upskilling myself into cloud computing. Uh, and coming to cloud, I got opportunity to undergo training and certification for AWS, Azure, and IBM Bluemix. But yeah, got an opportunity only to work on AWS platform as
Mhm.
an application engineer or cloud engineer, mostly engaged in the migration activities. And during the cloud journey, I got an opportunity for a project where the DevOps practice was to be integrated or implemented. From there starts my DevOps journey, and till date, I am working as a core DevOps engineer. Coming to DevOps, initially started with uh, the tool stack or tech stack as source code, Bitbucket, Jenkins, GitLab, and Docker, Kubernetes. Started
Mhm.
with self scripting, but later moved to Python scripting. And since last 2+ years, as I had been associated with banks, so I got exposure to the security part also. So hence, as of now, I'm working as a DevSecOps engineer, you can say.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm coming to current profile. Currently working for HDFC Bank as DevSecOps engineer, and the roles and responsibilities include mostly pretty much similar to a DevOps engineer,
Mhm.
apart from you're considering the security practice over our DevOps platform. So
Okay.
yeah,
So was
that's
one
it.
quick question. I got a
Sure.
good idea about your profile. Um,
Mm-hmm.
how about this sort of transition, like from Standard Chartered to HDFC? Um, so usually the Indian banks, they don't have that digital uh, presence, or you can say not so well for fast paced kind of banks. So and also the salary part, like, was HDFC able to meet your salary and all other stuff?
Uh, yeah, see, this is another story. When I opted or when I decided to move from SCB, so I had the multiple offers, like not from India, I had offers from abroad also, and I
Mhm.
had planned or the plan for which I moved out of SCB was
Mhm.
just to go abroad. But at the last stage, due to family issues, constant and all, I could not make it. Although I had everything with me, the visa also started, but I have to end it. And
Okay.
at that point of time, I got offer from SGFC, and the tech stack that you are talking about, Indian banks, I was well aware of. Indian banks don't have that tech stack, but in SDFC, these people, they just had started two new verticals, that is digital factory and enterprise factory, on
Mhm.
on July 2021. It had been around 8 or 10 months when I was interviewed after the formation of their two verticals. The tech stack, the niche skills were very good, and the people or the leaders who were hired to drive this, they basically come from mostly consulting and startup background.
Okay.
So thinking that or assuming that I'll not have constant in tech or anything, like in banks, so we used to have much restrictions and the legacy technologies. So thinking that only, I joined SDFC, and yeah, the decision was correct.
And the salary part was taken care.
Yeah, salary they gave a good salary, like good hike they gave.
Okay, cool. All right. So we will get into the discussion. So brief, like basic questions. What's your understanding of DevOps, DevSecOps? Maybe DevSecOps, if you can explain, we can take it from there.
Okay, DevSecOps is not a technology or it's not a tech stack, rather it's a practice
Mhm.
which is implemented over multiple organization. And coming to multiple organization, it is not specific to any category, maybe fintech, maybe any bank or maybe e-commerce. But yeah, DevSecOps should be imposed or should be enforced to each and every organization, irrespective of the domain. There are multiple benefits out of integration of DevSecOps, which leads to a formation of a security layer over your organization structure. The second one, having a security gate where chances or possibilities are there where the major part of any organization is the data is compromised by various means. So yeah, that can be prevented via DevSecOps. Third one is performance, agility, and obviously the last one again, the security of your whole infrastructure.
So what do you mean by SecOps in this whole phenomenon, and how do you accomplish that?
Okay, SecOps signifies the bridge between uh, your security and operations. Ideally, the bridge between the developer and operation is being filled by DevOps, and security coming to add, I can say, to add cream on the cake. So that way I can define.
Okay. So any specific tools that you have used to enable the security?
Yeah. So with God grace, I can say I got an opportunity with the leader with whom I am working as of now. He gave me a free hand in driving a tool named as Checkmarks, which is used to scan the vulnerabilities.
Mhm.
So from HDFC point of view, for our vertical, I am the single point of contact who is collaborative working since last year with the vendor in
Mhm.
driving these checkmarks. It started all with the on-premise, and now we have moved to a cloud SaaS model. And the scan types include your SAST, your SCA, and now we have included kicks also, which secures your infrastructure, maybe Dockerfile, maybe Kubernetes or Terraform, anything,
Mhm.
or your manifest files. So apart from that, we are using SonarQube, and for SonarQube also, I, I may not say the single point of contact, but I am the single point of failure for SonarQube. But for checkmarks, I am single point of contact as of now. We haven't any point of failure yet. Yeah,
Okay.
those two, two tools we are using as of now.
So did you evaluate check marks comparing with some other product? How was this decision made?
No, when I joined just 2 months ago, the decision was made that checkmarks would be onboarded. Already it was being onboarded to bank, but
Mhm.
to our vertical, it was me who onboarded.
Uh,
Ideally, our yeah,
uh,
sorry.
yeah, yeah.
No, ideally, our responsibilities was that we as a DevSecOps engineer, we should only help to integrate those tools in our pipeline. That was the major responsibility. But
Mhm.
as it was an open playground and there was no restriction, and I took ad hoc responsibilities and drove it or I drove it.
Okay. Any specific benefits that have come through? Any you can quantify using check marks?
See, basically, yeah, these are parameters should have come into picture before making the decision of onboarding into bank. But coming to your question, what has been the benefit of institutions using this? As user point of view, I can say it's pretty, I can say straightforward and pretty flexibility for any users. They can, the integration was not, uh, although although the integration was yeah little complex or had a twist, but yeah, consuming those from a user point of view is pretty yeah, straightforward, and they can generate the report, yeah, which again, yeah, based on the approval, can take ahead with the release process or with the further process of DevOps.
But what is the benefit you have got after integrating this tool?
Okay, the benefit is that we have a ground level of check as of now because we haven't integrated over the pipeline. Apart from that, we have also integrated in the IDE plugins of the developer. Assume me as a developer who is developing uh, any app or any website with XYZ tech stack, and
Sorry,
with my
are you
edit.
saying you have not integrated in the pipeline yet?
No, no, pipeline also integrated, and we
Okay.
have also
ID
integrated
also.
in the ID also.
Okay, got it. Okay.
So yeah, so there are two level of yeah sanitization done. First is from the ID level, like they're not in the bank environment or not in the DevSecOps environment, rather in the developer environment. And when they are pushing to our environment, then our pipeline takes care because in our pipeline it's already integrated.
What are the benefits you have received so far with this tool?
Benefits we have received, we have the vulnerable free of applications. So that's the primary thing of getting
What
any
kind of
clearance.
issues has this reported? Do you remember any specific or any type
Uh-huh.
of issues that it reports?
See, there are multiple scan categories under check marks, starting from SAST, which is source code application, then HCA, source composition analysis, and kicks. So multiple features, multiple vulnerabilities comes under different categories. For
Mhm.
SAST, it is pre-built, like until unless your application is built, you can have a scanning under SAST category. For coming into HCA, when your application is built, you need few dependencies, libraries or few third-party libraries, which helps in building your application,
Right.
right? So that comes under source code means analysis. So, okay, source composition so analysis. Third one is the kicks, which points to a repository. So in our bank, we have a single pointed repository or a standardized repository where our Helm charts Docker file resides. So that is taken care by kicks. So the main advantage of this is that are we are sanitizing the application completely. We are scanning the vulnerabilities. We are fixing the vulnerabilities at a very granular stage.
Give me one or two example of these vulnerabilities.
See, it depends again. Okay, I can say as of now, recently I got one from a specific project. It was from a Docker file. While scanning the Docker file via kicks, so it had multiple or three multiple errors. The first being those people or those project team, they haven't met the standard of creating the Docker file. Like in bank, we have created a standard of creating a Docker file. So there are numerous points. Yeah, starting from the size, then using uh, a standard or basic image. So these are all the few points which we have set as the best practices of creating a Docker file or a Docker image. So these people, they haven't met such,
That's very
which
basic, right? Standard not followed
basic.
is
Uh,
even
the
looking at
standard
with
not
your eyes or just a code review can get those kind of issues.
okay, but then again, it's a manual approach, right?
Yeah, yeah. What
So
is that
it's
SCA? What is the tool? Checkmarks has reported any such vulnerabilities. Typically, we get so many issues, right? You must be scanning your mobile applications or your
Mhm.
web applications, Docker file, any two or three. Like what happens in our environment, if we get some specific issue, we get like 10 or 20 or 50 times that issue. Like this issue is at line 50 in this file, then another file. What are those top, anything that comes to your mind that this tool helps with?
Yeah. So previously, I got one report. Yeah, going through one report. It was uh, yeah, one developer. They have drafted the credentials. Have drafted the credential. I guess I could not remember. It was, I guess, DB name or some credentials. I'm not sure for which exactly, but
Okay,
they have, yeah, integrated the username and password including the token number. So
okay.
that was highlighted on the second or third point.
Again, very very like even a basic code review would have revealed that. Again, not something. Yes, tool helps, but
No, no, you exactly. I do understand your point.
something
See,
that
everything
with
can.
the naked eyes you can't easily detect, or uh, a tool would probably be a better fit for that. Or leave the tool. What are the top security issues in general in
Um,
the?
there are 10 categories, or these guys follows. See, inside checkmarks, they have the uh, I could not pronounce it, OWASP. So
Okay.
that can, yeah, the check marks have been integrated or they have,
So if
yeah,
you
set their standard.
if you say follow this standard, they would bring those rules
The
and
rules are already predefined for our means our organization.
right,
So when the scan initiate, uh, it makes sure that the vulnerabilities which are being thrown out or the scanned result are being aligned with those standard or policies.
right.
If not, then obviously it will be reported.
Okay.
So
So what
that
are those policies? Any idea what those?
I haven't by-hearted it, to be honest,
Okay. So what
but
happens when you receive an issue, your pipeline reports, or what's the workflow?
okay. So before conveying the workflow, yeah, let me give you a short yeah, background. We have a team here, like a governance team, that is ISG. From our DevSecOps point of view, our work ends on integrating the pipeline and generating the report. Post that, the developer team needs to take this report and have a clearance from the ISG team.
Okay.
So this is the workflow. And coming to the technology end, we have integrated not only to only initiate the scan in the pipeline, rather we have means or customized the logic in such a way that once the pipeline finishes, we have, yeah, set two more ad hoc enhancement, which I just had released last week only. Like we have set the quality threshold gate
Hmm.
for SAST and HC as of now. Kix is not yet being integrated or being released. For SAST and HCA, I have set the quality threshold go, yeah, based on the ISG discussion. So assume I have set a 5 or 10 number of vulnerabilities to be passed for my dev environment or for my prod environment. So if it breaches 10 or 5, the pipeline will abort, or the stage will abort, and it will abort the pipeline also.
Got it.
But yeah, but the report will be generated and it will be shared to specific number of email, yeah, to specific number of email users which are being drafted or which have been part of our jenkins.env file. We have completely sort parameterized, and here we follow the shared lib structure. we have integrated this over a pipeline, okay, while creating a shared link. So that as a user, if you consume, you can directly invoke the function on your Jenkins file, and if you are good to consume our scan.
Okay. So give me like some more details as to um, anything around highly available applications. How do you ensure one application is highly available? And yeah, something around that.
Well, that was, yeah, that doesn't comes in our bucket here in
Okay.
current organization. The
Okay.
reason being it's a very big organization and we have a separate cloud ops vertical for it.
Okay.
So we are a centralized DevSecOps team
Okay.
whose mostly responsible or primary responsibility is to create framework or platform that can be consumed across the bank in order to integrate their application into DevSecOps.
So if some application has to be architected, your team will not be involved in from infra
Mm,
point of view also.
no, no, no. As of now,
Okay.
no.
Your profile says you have used Terraform and Civil. So does that fall into your responsibilities?
Currently, I have used recently Terraform, but we haven't architected it. Rather, we have created few modules for one of the project at, at a very initial stage, like last year only I did. But after that, the project which are coming to onboard themselves into DevSecOps, they have their own infra guy who have created the modules. But we make sure that they follow the standardization which we have set. Like we have our own repository structure and they need to push their code in that repository. Like mostly in sort banks, till date they have outsourced everything, the tech part, and now we are building a in-house community.
Are you certified? You said you are certified on few stuff.
Past I did for AWS Developer Associate. As of now, planning for Kubernetes CKD. Mostly by next month, I will be doing that.
Okay. All right. Uh, do you understand the cloud well architected framework?
Yeah, in past organization, I got exposure to this.
So can you explain like what do you mean by that?
Cloud architecture, it depends like can you be more specific into which type of design or
Like there is a standard term, industry term actually, well architected framework. So what are those pillars of well architecture uh, that you usually follow? And
see mostly what I have came across is three-tier application.
Mhm.
Structure application networking layer and your database layer. So three-tier architecture, what I have heard and what I have came across till date in my
Okay,
developer and both DevOps journey.
okay, okay. Can you explain what is three-tier architecture?
Three-tier architecture, you combines your application layer, your networking layer, and your database layer. Your application layer comprises of your all source code which are required uh, to build your application, and
Mhm.
your network layer signifies the piece of part or cake which allows you to have a connection between, I can say, a source and destination or between two layers. And coming to your database layer, which is most significant, it comprises of all your, uh, I can say, the exact keyword for is this, all your sensitive information or your sensitive data, okay, to
Mhm.
be stored at a place. You can term that as a database.
What three architecture layer? These are for application, for infrastructure.
Sorry?
So you said this is a three-tier architecture. This is for an application.
Yeah, for any application or I can say any new project, if it comes up, first we ask what is the
So your
tire.
in your code is one layer followed by networking and followed by secrets.
Um, like I can say these three should be the, yeah, coming under the category of application. Yeah, there is one more layer which is called as the user interactive layer, or I
So
forgot
that makes it
the exact one.
4-tier architecture.
No, it's a 3 tier. First is the user interactive layer. Then the
Mhm.
second one is the application layer, which comprises of this networking and database also inside that as a subcategory. And the last is, I guess, the network layer. I could not recall as of now. But yeah, these two I can recall, that is the user interactive layer and the application layer.
Okay. Do you know what is public subnet, private subnets?
Yeah, in cloud. Yeah.
What is the
So
difference
public,
between these two?
yeah,
Major
see,
difference. Not that this
okay,
is public, this is private.
no, no. See, the thing is that the one thing which distinguish or make it differentiate is from a public subnet is used which can be accessed globally, okay, without any restrictions. Okay, that is the basic difference
That
for
is
a
the
layman
basic.
approach.
Right.
Yeah. Uh, but coming from a tech point of view, if I want to store my sensitive information, definitely I'll not go ahead with the public because that will be compromised. Like my data will be compromised, right? Or
That
my
is
complete
that is not the
architecture.
difference. What is the key difference? That is the reason to have public and private subnets.
I guess this is the basic or the main reason why you should have public or
Yeah, that is correct. Main reasons to have, but what is the key difference between a public subnet and a private subnet?
um as per my experience, I
Anything
can
from
say
routes or networking point of view?
in public it is two-way accessible, but in private it is means one way, like a unidirectional and bidirectional, I can say.
Hmm. Okay. All right. Have you performed any disaster recovery in your environment by choice
Current,
or?
to be honest, current didn't. In past also I could not because past was also a bank. So we did only POC, but I don't know that was integrated or not because by that time I left over.
You are mainly on AWS, right?
Currently, we are not any cloud specific.
Okay.
We have here AWS and GCP, including Azure. So we are not any cloud specific as well.
Okay. Have you ever engaged into cost optimization activity?
Last quarter, I was engaged on a cost optimization, but it was related only to Jenkins Slave Agent, not for any project or not for any thing, but it was a small POC where the Jenkins agent which we is being hosted or which we are using as of now for our vertical, how do how can we cost optimize it by various considering various parameters. That was a POC although.
So what was your recommendation?
Our recommendation was because currently it was on premise, so we have to give a strong justification to opt for a GCP one. So those were researched and get those one tested with proper justification. Like for on-premise, the developers, even when we try to execute job on our Jenkins platform, we face a lot of issues. Like for the basic issues, the node not available, execute is not available, and in most cases, it takes a time delay to execute the pipeline. Although we have optimize everything on our Jenkins file, but still it takes a lot of time. So those are few things, a few parameters based on which we went ahead with the cost optimization.
Any difference between these two or three different types of load balancers AWS offers or Azure?
AWS, I can say what I remember. Classic application load balancer and network load balancer.
Mhm.
Mostly I have came across application load balancer.
What is the difference between these three?
See, application load balancer I have mostly used or I have been in touch with in my past experience. So application load balancers comes into picture or has its benefits of a path-based routing. So previously, before coming into the bank domain, I was part of a startup. It was mostly a e-commerce platform. So we had multiple modules or microservices for our website. So there we were using ALB uh, so that we can configure or we can route based on the module part, which in result enhances uh, the traffic handling, I can say. So that's the best part, or that's the benefit of using LB. Increases the performance and handles the traffic based on the user request.
But NLB also supports pathways. That's not the major difference between these two.
Um, as of now, I can recall this and I can.
Okay. In your environment, how are you managing the secrets?
As of now, we are handling in secret using Vault or in Jenkins. We are creating the Jenkins key store, but we are not the or we are not the right team or yeah, we are not the right team who are taking the ownership of the Jenkins tool. Rather, we have a dev support is a vertical who takes care of the ownership of these tools like Git and Jenkins or SonarQube. We only consume their services. So we recommend to have a key store to store the credentials over Jenkins. And for this Kubernetes, we use secrets.
Have you designed any solution? System design?
System design, I can say not individually end to end, but rather part of the system design.
Anything you recall, anything you have been part of which was designed recently?
But recently, not, but in past, yeah, during the initial phase of my current organization and on my previous organization on the mid, I was part of the design end to end. It was a migration project from on-premise to cloud with integration of DevSecOps. So
Yeah,
there I was.
what was the approach for the migration and what was your role in that?
My role was from DevOps point of view because we had already a cloud architecture there who gave or who transformed the on-premise architecture, the legacy architecture into cloud with the various AWS services. So we as a DevOps point of view, we consume their endpoints in our services and allow the end user to consume our DevSecOps platform. So me as a DevOps engineer, we automated or we created a framework which will uh, pick or which will consume or fetch the application from their source code repository, scanning those, creating a build, dockerizing it, pushing into for Docker image scanning, post that, deploying into a specific namespace. This was an end-to-end framework created by me and my two team members in my past organization.
Were you involved in any discovery of resources on-prem, or was it just
No,
automation?
pardon. No, I was just in the part of automation.
Okay. All right. I think that is pretty much I wanted to discuss. Uh, do you have any questions?
Yeah, I have few. If you allow me.
Yeah, yeah, please. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Thanks. So just wanted to check as I am already being conveyed by the person who have scheduled this interview or have passed this the platform for us to connect.
Mhm.
So just wanted to ask about what exactly because as I know that the Capital One is also a bank. So what all tech stack like? How can I differentiate between uh, what tech stack or what environment I'm working as of now and what environment is there set up for your organization with respect to tools, technology, everything?
So I think we have tried giving as much details possible on a job description as well. We are also multi-cloud. Um, what other tech stack? Same Docker, containerization, Kubernetes, uh, Terraform, Ansible. Pretty much
Okay.
that you probably would have been working on, or as a DevOps engineer have some understanding.
Right.
Um, so the tech stack is playtest. Uh, we try to look at senior engineers, senior DevOps engineers to provide feedback and make changes to our tech stack. So we need that kind of profile as well.
Okay.
So what was your other question?
Regarding the work location, or like in Bangalore, do you have, or it's specific to any state or?
No, nothing like that. We are pretty open. We have people coming working from remote locations as well. So
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 you,
people who are
oh yeah,
in
please.
Bangalore, we have office and they do join office on weekly or any such major occasion when it's required. But
Okay,
as of now, we are into that mixed mode. If people are, uh,
hybrid mode.
yeah, yeah. So if they are remote, they want to work from home, we are flexible on that.
So you provide the remote work options also.
Yes, at least for
So
now, at least it's open. Right now, there is no restriction.
okay, so it's not permanent, but yeah, as of now, based on
Yeah, yeah,
situation, you
correct,
provide.
correct.
Okay, because it's a bank, and in Bangalore, may I know where is the location of like your place, your office?
Capital One has different offices.
Mhm.
Um, we have offices in Electronic City and in near the airport as well.
You have one near the airport, and the
Yeah,
second one,
Electronic City.
Electronic City. Okay, perfect. Uh, yeah, one last question. Yeah,
Yep.
with respect to the security tools, uh, will it be fine if you can uh, share which tech, means which exactly security tools being in use or consumed by your DevOps platform?
Yeah, yeah, we use multiple tools, not restricted to any specific tool. That's why most of my questions were
Mhm.
not about tool as such. They all have what we have found is they share similar sort of reports. So what
Ours
was issue?
also was same, but as it was onboarded, and working in bank environment, if you work with senior stakeholder people who are quite senior and experienced, and they have a long tenure in bank, they don't go directly for the change, or they don't adopt the change at a fast pace as we do in IT organization. So that's the reason, that the major reason, or that's a fact, we haven't went to other tool. Rather, we have done POC for 45 also, and for one other tool, it was white switching or something. I forgot. Those two were done, and we took it ahead with the senior stakeholders, but that didn't work out because it is already onboarded, and the governance team or the finance team, they directly, they counter, or they rejected that. This tool is already we have onboarded, and if we are going to onboard a new one, it will take at least 6 to 8 months with
Correct.
the multiple
I
approval.
think Checkmarks
And
has advantage that it has an self-hosted version as well.
initially, it was a self hosted, or
Right.
it was hosted in a bank version. And now recently we have moved to CX1, Checkmarks one, which is a SaaS model. They have hosted in a single EC2 instance of AWS and pointed to, or a single tenant which is dedicated to HDFC.
Right, 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 correct. So that's not a restriction over here. We try to you look at Capital One history. We have been developing in-house softwares and making them open source. Not sure you look at Hygia dashboard. that was developed by Capital One and outsourced, made it open source. That's a dashboard that
Okay.
connects to different DevSecOps tools and give
Okay.
you a very holistic view of the environment. That's an open source project now. So yeah, so we have a bunch of in-house tools and also uh, multiple tools depending upon which area we are connected within the bank.
Okay, that's cool. Then you don't have much restrictions like banks. Like you have restrictions, but you have transformed them into a healthy culture or a healthy environment
Correct,
where one can get an open environment to
correct.
run their
Not
hands
really
on
open
one
by their choice, but by the type of application they are
type
working
of
on.
application.
Correct.
Correct, correct. Got it, got it. Here also we are following same, and we are hired, or my managers or yeah, my yeah bosses, they are hired for same. But a thing which I learned in 1 year here in current organization, things won't change as you want, especially in bank, and if it is a big organization, it takes time and things move very slowly. But again, we are trying to set up something which we may see after a couple of years.
Correct.
Not sure. Yeah, that's it pretty from my
All
end.
right,
I'm good.
Devasis, I'll
Hmm?
close the interview for now, and then
Sure,
I'll share the feedback with the
sure,
HR.
sure, sure.
Thank you. Nice talking
Thank
to
you.
you.
Yeah,
Thanks.
same here.
Bye.
Bye.